Ladies and gentlemen and others, what's going on? How are you? Welcome back to JKWD. Hope you are having a fantastic uh, moment. Whatever you were doing before, I hope right now is great. Kelvin, how you doing?
I'm doing okay. You know, your greeting would have some relevance to people if they'd have been here for the past hour and a half while we were getting ready to say those first few words. They would not understand the incredible joy involved in getting to finally utter those without what is the term I'm looking for? Resistance. Yes.
I'm sure we'll get some of that along the way too. But we got here for now. And as long as we're here,
we should talk fast.
Yeah, I was going to say, we might as well get right to the point and let you know that you can recover faster, get over some injuries faster. You can fill your belly up with warm, delicious bone broth from Kettle and Fire for 10% off. How do you like them apples? No, it's bone broth, Josh, and some soup to go with it. No apples here. I don't know. Maybe they flavored some of the stuff with apples. Doesn't taste like apples.
They should.
Doesn't taste like apples. That's all I got to say about that. So here's what you do. You go to kettleandfire.com. You fill up your box with all the good stuff. And when you go to checkout, you put Better Humanhood, all one word, in the promo box. And they'll just knock 10% off your order, just like that.
Just like
kettleandfire.com. Code Better Humanhood at checkout for 10% off. And now we're going to play some music that's more relevant to this podcast than to Kettle and Fire. Makes sense? Here we go. Podcast, where we talk about better humanhood and teach you how to dominate your world. You ready? Here we go.
Hi, Josh.
Hey, Kelvin, what's going on, man?
Be like the old cookie commercial. Hi, Drox. Oh, man, it's been a morning.
All around, yeah. Last night was a full moon. I don't know if that has anything to do with it. I tend to put no stock in that at all.
That's true, but you better check and see if Mercury's in retrograde again.
Right, yeah. And you know what retrograde is?
It's going backwards.
Well, it looks like it's going backwards.
Yeah.
Right, because our eyes are just slow. It's like if you watch TV commercials or you watch a movie, if you look at cars moving, the wheels look like they're going backwards. Like the car's going forward, but the hubcaps look like they're going in reverse. And it's because the frame rate is just off with our eyes.
Oh.
So like,
I never noticed that, actually.
Yeah. Now you're not going to be able to unsee it. Now that you heard about it, the next time you see it, you're going to be like, I can't stop watching.
The tires are in retrograde.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just because the frame rate, the way it works with our eyes is just off in such a way that we perceive it moving backwards.
I never saw that. I've seen other things that look like they were moving backwards. I mean, I know the stands are moving backwards while the cards are moving forward. I know that.
That makes sense.
So,
Michael Jackson. Doing
Michael
the moonwalk.
Jackson was constantly in retrograde.
Yeah.
He was moving forward and backwards at the same time. maybe it's not going to work.
Well, I mean, that was the whole point of the moonwalk, right? Like
Yeah, it was
he was stepping forward, but he was moving backward. Yeah.
I tried to do the moonwalk. It was a horrible spectacle of me having absolutely, it was horrible. It didn't work. And I think I fell down. Which, so I never got past that. So anybody who can actually do the moonwalk, I am so impressed with you. Have you tried it?
Not lately.
Oh, okay. Well,
given the amount of stuff I've been walking into around here, last week I had a cyst removed on my left eye.
Ow.
This happens occasionally. That my eyes don't close all the way. That dates back to second grade. So, it's something that I live with. Just it's never dark in my. It's never dark unless I put a blindfold on because my eyes don't close.
Oh wow!
But it also means that they get dry occasionally because when I blink, they don't close all the way, and so moisture still dries out. And it also means that sometimes I get a particle in there, and then my body goes to fight off that particle, and sometimes it forms a cyst just to protect itself. And every now and then the cyst gets big enough that I got to go to the eye doctor and have her lance it. This week,
twice.
That
lance part. It sounds,
Yeah, well, here's what actually happens, and it was really fun this time because there was I don't know if you call them interns, but somebody who is or a resident, or I don't think they're residents are actual doctors, right? But she was there. She'd been there
on her own, yeah.
Yeah, she'd been there for 3 months, and she was observing, and she was so psyched to see it. Like she was like, "I'm so excited to see this! Like, yeah, it's so cool." She wanted to take pictures to show her friends. That's a violation of HIPAA, by the way. So,
well, maybe if you're not identified.
Well, I was getting ready to say, as long as you keep it off social and keep my name off it, like I'm totally cool, and maybe text me some of those pictures. But the doctor was like, "No."
I've been studying HIPAA lately. It's
yes. So I mean, basically, what they do is they stick some lidocaine in there so that I can't feel what they're doing. They flip the eyelid, and then they cut open the cyst, and they actually pull all the garbage out, and then they cover you up with an eye patch for a day.
That still didn't sound like fun to me.
So I got to be Pirate Josh for a day.
All right.
And, yeah. Yeah. And it means that, if you have a patch over your eye, you can't see out of that side of your face.
Get out.
You forget that. So your peripheral vision with your one eye, kind of goes into the part of that side.
Yeah.
But you're used to be able to see, not quite 180 degrees at a time, but 150 degrees at a time. And when that goes in half, and you start walking into things like doorknobs.
Because your depth perception is off too.
Well, your depth perception is off, but you just don't see anything on the other side of your face. So we were talking about the moonwalk and doing things fancy, and my point was that some days just walking is a challenge. I tell you, I decided to go to work that night. I worked a half day because of the timing of the thing. I wound up working a half day, not going in for the first half. But when I sat down to work, there was a fly in the office.
Oh.
And it was just buzzing around. I could hear it. And there's one other guy working. I'm sitting here like, there's a fly in this office. I can't see out of one side of my face. And the side of the face I can see out of, I don't have any depth perception. Would this arson be justified? And he said, no, it would not. But if if you pull out the fly swatter, start the video before you go after it. Now, I have one of those things that looks like a tennis racket, that the webbing is electrified.
Yes.
Yeah. So I pulled one of those out, and I realized that the fan was going.
Yeah.
So in addition to like my messed up depth perception, like the shadows look super weird when you only have one eye to look at them with. And so I turned off the fan and I stood in the corner because I figured that way the only place the fly could be was in front of me. I never found the fly, but it seems to either. Well, I never found the fly, but it seems to either have left or died, because we haven't heard it in a couple of days.
It died of laughter watching you trying to find it. I can see that now. Fly just drops dead. Boom, laughing at Josh.
Yeah.
But I don't envy you.
Do flies have
you because I don't want that situation to happen to me.
Do flies have obits? Like do they take out obits in fly newspapers? Because
I haven't seen one.
I mean,
but, I might really not notice it. Yeah.
You know, I really wonder. You know, because some flies do die in hilarious situations, right? You know, was chowing down on a peanut butter and jelly sandwich when a human took a bite and the fly went in with it. You know,
my mother.
What happened to Percy there?
Yeah, my mother. We'd have had to do an obit for my mom if that had happened with her. Her and the fly. I ate a fly. Ooh, gone. Anyway, speaking of retrograde. I think that's what this conversation's done. Oh my goodness. Other than that, Mr. Shear, how are you?
I'm doing pretty well. We managed to bore the baby to sleep, so we might actually get this episode in.
Talk fast, yeah.
Yeah. Things are generally well over here. How about you?
Pretty good. It's been some decent weather over here. It hasn't been overly hot. A little cool in places. As a matter of fact, it's been good in the evenings. A couple thunderstorms. It's been just a nice week. And I don't have, you won't believe this, but I don't have anything to complain about.
Weird.
Yeah. At least not with the weather. The place has been good. And, it's been a nice week. I've got some relaxation, been doing some studying and some stuff, but actually rested my brain a little bit, did a little cooking, listened to a little jazz. You know, it's been a nice week. As a matter of fact, I'd like to have another one just like it. Well, not the exact same. I mean, it's not like Groundhog Day, but, right. Another good week. So, yeah, we're doing well. Looking forward to talking to you today, and then
whatever working. Gonna do. Yeah. So, yeah, I was looking at your vitamin K. Well, we're recording, so it would have been this morning, but on Monday when this comes out, it would have been last Friday. If you're listening to this in February of 2023, then you don't really have any reference point for when this was.
That's true, but I would probably have run that article again by then, so it may be even current then. Yeah. Yeah,
that's true. And it was about finishing things.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, I realized we've done an episode on getting yourself to start.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was a long time ago, but
it was.
Yeah, that's such a hard thing for people. Is to start. But how many things do we start that we leave unfinished?
Where do you want to start counting?
And there's all kinds of unfinished, right? There's this will never be perfect, so I'm never going to put it out.
Right.
There's I'm going to wait until this is perfect, and since things are never perfect. But there's also I put up that website, but I never went and sold the things that I said I was going to sell, or, yeah.
Or I started that degree program, but I just don't have time to go to class.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. As a matter of fact, that was
the impetus for it.
That was my impetus for the article, was that I retired from the Air Force in 1991, and I was short 3 credits for an associate degree. They gave us credits. There was actually a community college of the Air Force, if you can believe that. But anyway, they just to make sure we get credit for all the training and stuff we get in. So when I got out, I was 3 credits short, and all I had to do was 3 courses short, go to a financial institution. Nope, wrong one. Educational institution that would take those credits, take 3 more courses. Well, normally they make you take more so they can get extra money, because now you have to matriculate. Doesn't that sound like a dirty word? I matriculated to yeah. But anyway, and it just never got done. I didn't have the time or the impetus, or it didn't seem that important, and so I just never got that done for the longest time. And one of my friends at the time challenged me to you need to go get a degree, get some letters after your name. And I said, I got some letters after my name. AAS, almost associate degree. He didn't find that funny. Anyway, he ended up convincing me to do that. And I went on and got my, he used the age-old argument for that in that particular case, which was make a really good example for your son. Oh, man, I hate it when somebody says that, because now I don't have an argument for that.
Right.
So I ended up finishing it up, and eventually, like 5 years later, I ended up with a bachelor's, and so I had the letters. But I didn't think it was a big deal. I went to school, I got some stuff. But everybody else was telling me what a big deal it was. My boss at the time bought me this really nice pen. I don't know what happened to it. I think somebody stole it. And then I said, because I
wasn't me, didn't do it, can't prove anything.
So what?
Wasn't me, didn't do it, can't prove anything.
That's right. So, but he's like, you should have a nice pen. A man of distinction should have a nice pen. I was like, a man of distinction? How did I get that? I got a bachelor's degree. That's not a man of distinction, And then I was married at the time, again. And my wife was throwing a big old party. And I'm like, what's this for? I mean, I just finished some courses. Until it dawned on me, but wait a minute. I didn't just finish a couple of courses. I actually finished a degree program. That was like a structured thing from start to finish. And it wasn't just that I took a couple of courses. It was actually I finished something important. And it was like, oh, yeah, now I understand what the big deal was, because, I learned some stuff for that course. But it wasn't so much that I learned something new. Bachelor's was good. It was in business. They taught me that there's a couple words I could use to describe something that previously would have taken me like 2 pages of writing it longhand, because there's a theory called that. And that kind of thing. But what it more meant was that I had managed to put together the discipline, the motivation, the strength to actually finish a course of action that I started. And once I figured that out, it's like, oh, that's what that means to me. And if I can finish one, I can finish others. Let the record show. Doesn't always work that way.
Well, just because you can doesn't mean you do, but
yeah,
no, you can. And it doesn't have to be courses, it doesn't have to be a degree program, but once you make a habit of finishing something, yes, we're talking habits again.
Habits again. Yep.
Once you make a habit of finishing things, you tend to keep doing it.
Yep. And the more you finish, the more you will finish when you begin.
Yeah.
And that's where a lot of us get hang up in the middle. If we finish a couple things, but if we let ourselves not finish that next couple, we start to develop another habit. So instead of developing the habit of succeeding, sometimes we develop the habit of not finishing.
Well, I got to tell you, tonight,
yes, sir.
I'm going to light the grill. And
are you?
If I don't finish cooking the pork chops, people are going to get sick.
And they're going to whine because they're hungry. So it's good to finish.
So some things are definitely worth finishing. I mean, who wants to eat a half-finished cupcake? It's all
not I.
Soft and unfrosted.
That's probably true. That's probably true. And yeah, I mean,
a little runny.
Like the oven just quit in the middle. Oh, what is that? Oh, that's nothing. That's
yeah, forget that.
But have you ever started something that you didn't finish?
Oh yeah. I've got organization projects. I've got inventory projects. I started this big project for one of my Masonic lodges.
Mm-hmm.
And I got everything organized. Haven't written a word about this. Like I've got 3-inch binders packed full of history. I sorted everything, organized it. Haven't written a word about it. Just I start stuff, but I finish stuff too, or I keep going if there's a keep going point. If you check out this podcast, my podcast, you check out the blog, they're still going. Haven't given up on them. Reid Hoffman says, if you're not embarrassed by the first iteration of something, then you ship too late.
I didn't hear that one. That was a good one.
He founded a small website that you may have heard of, called LinkedIn.
That one.
Yeah,
I've heard about that.
And finishing doesn't always mean completion, right? Sometimes it means shipping. It means letting people see it.
Okay.
Right? Because like with LinkedIn, say,
mm-hmm.
When LinkedIn went live, when Twitter went live, when Facebook went live, when jkwdpodcast.com went live, we shipped the product.
We did.
But it's not done, right? Like we add a new post to it every week. We have for over 3 years. It may never be finished, but we shipped. And we keep shipping a new version every week.
But that's still a thing that's in progress. It's not finished per se, but it's still done.
Right.
Like we started it, we shipped, we had the podcast, so it's finished from the regard that we didn't quit there.
Right.
I mean, we didn't make a decision.
Right. So
when you started studying for that, studying. When you started training for that half marathon.
Yep.
Okay. You went through with that, so you didn't not finish that. You finished.
Nope. We finished that.
You may never do another one, but you did that one.
Yep.
And there's a lot of stuff that we start. That's the universal we, and then for one reason or another, we don't continue it. And not only does that start a habit, but somewhere in the back of our minds, I think we lose track. We develop this habit of not finishing things, and then we don't realize it, but we start to feel a certain way about ourselves and our efforts. That becomes hazardous because we start to take on the identity, I think, of someone who doesn't finish something. And that identity, if we accept it, that's bad. That's dangerous. That's very now, not finishing is not the same as evaluating, determining that this wasn't a good project. This is not where we wanted to go. It was a start. That's different than just leaving it linger there and just kind of ignoring it and pretending it doesn't exist.
Right. Right. It's the same as, you haven't failed at something if you're still trying.
Right.
Thomas Edison with the light bulb. Yeah.
Yeah, he kept going. I don't know.
Why did you try so many times? Why did you try so many times, or how did it feel to fail so many times? Like, I didn't fail. I just found 10,000 ways not to make a filament.
There you go. So that's different. So, yeah, but finishing is important.
Speaking of finishing, I just picked up my coffee cup and found out I finished my coffee. Isn't that a sad day?
Near as sad as if you don't have any more coffee in the house, though.
Oh, that I think that has never happened.
So I won't drink mine in front of you. I won't let you.
No, that's fine.
Drinking out of my coffee cup. So sometimes we finish because we decide it's not really what we're looking for. And have you ever had a project like that?
Yeah, I probably had a few of those. I abandoned websites, abandoned blogs, abandoned books. Yeah, I got plenty of those in my history. You?
Oh, yeah. We got a lot of those. But, sometimes, though, that's a step on the way to where we're trying to go. So we might not finish that piece of it, but we decide the end goal, because we always got to keep the end goal in mind, right?
Yeah. So did we learn from it? Yeah.
Yeah. So what's the end goal? Was it to do that website, or was it what that website was designed to do in the grand scheme of what we were trying to do, right?
Right.
So
and did it meet that objective? Because sometimes, that's a good reason for letting go, is because your why has changed.
Yeah. Very much so. So that's just something to keep in mind. So, but just to let it go because, well, I don't have the motivation. I don't have the, sometimes that can just.
Well, you said that much nicer than I would.
Beg pardon?
You said that much nicer than I was going to. I was going to say because you're lazy.
Well, lazy has its moments, but if you're lazy, there's a book out. I forget the name of the author, but it's called "The Way You Do Anything Is the Way You Do Everything." I've been trying to finish that book now for a couple of years, but I need to finish that. But there's a thing, there is a concept, if that's the way you are in this area of your life, look at the other areas of your life and find out if you have the same bad habits or good habits for that matter. You know, that's a conversation worth having. And then if something needs to change, then something needs to change. I like feeling good about me, and if I keep not doing things that I just don't want to, or because lazy is good. I'm too lazy. I don't want to put in the effort to learn what I need to do, or just.
Well, I mean, it's so much easier to not do anything.
Yeah, but there's no growth in it.
There's no growth in it.
There's no growth in it. Yeah, there's no growth in it. I was gonna say there's no redeeming qualities, but I've seen some of these rock climbers. You see those? Will you tell me those people who like climb mountains with no ropes? I mean,
yeah.
I'm not doing that, and I don't feel the least bit bad about not trying it.
No, same. It's
not part of my my need to.
No, I don't have that gene. I keep saying I'm going to try to get somebody on my podcast before they die, because we know it's coming.
Bummer. Yeah. You got anybody in mind? Because we don't want him to know that you said that before we invite him in, right?
Yeah. Well, I do have somebody in mind, and that's why I haven't said a name.
Got it. Well, it's good. So, finishing. So, how do you decide what to finish?
Well, take a look at what you started. Take a look at why you started it. And anything that's still fitting your why, that should get finished.
Fitting the why. You know, that presupposes that we actually took the time to figure out what that why is, doesn't it?
Yeah, and we've talked about this before, but it's important. You know, for your degree program, your why wound up being an example for your son.
So I gave him that.
Yeah, it had started just as, well, I'm only 3 courses away. And that wasn't enough why for you. But when it became
hated that other
an example for your son, that became enough of a why.
Yeah. I got a couple other examples I need to make for my son too. I'll let you know when I buy the mansion. Mind you, the mansion is not the goal. but at any rate, yeah. So yeah, I think that's it.
All right,
gotta finish. So, well, you gotta decide what to finish,
and then you gotta finish it. Yeah, that's 2 different things, but
they are.
I know that sometimes taking 2 actions, there's a lot to ask of people.
Yeah, wake up. That's 1. That's and then get up. That's 2. Right? Is that it? Were those the 2 you had in mind?
Well, no, I was thinking
beyond that. Yeah.
You know, seeing what needs to be finished and then finishing it.
No, yeah.
You know, just do it. It's not just the one thing. It's not just the finishing. You gotta. Yeah. There's a step before that.
So what happens if you're just not sure if it should be finished? Now, I had a specific answer in mind for that, which I didn't share with you, so we're just going to have to go with it. You know.
So you asked me a question.
I don't know.
So my answer to that is, that's why you need people around you. That's why you need a mastermind, even if you don't call it that. You need to talk to people about stuff that's important to you, and see what needs finishing. What was your answer? Because you said you had.
It was close. That was close.
Okay.
It was close. Talk to somebody who knows you and knows your dreams, and let them help you get through that period. So good job, Mr. Shear. We do make a good team after all, don't we?
Apparently we do.
Yes. That's it. Figure it out and get moving.
There had been some question when you were letting me walk into walls earlier in the episode.
There was that. And the other part of that piece, by the way, is to make sure there's somebody who actually cares about you and seeing you succeed, by the way. Don't just ask any old body. I'm very, very, when I come to a decision point like that, I'm very, very picky about the people I allow to influence that part of my life.
Yeah.
That part of my thought process. Very, very picky.
Yeah.
So,
You want somebody with your best interest in mind, because if they're just interested in what they can get out of it, then that is not the sort of person you want giving you advice.
Or if they don't have a good self-image and they don't want to see themselves doing it, they can help talk you out of it because now they got to do something. So
right.
I know it's a complex formula, but you got to get there. So yeah, that's why I have you, because you. Well, that's one reason I have you. The other one's because you look cute in those headphones. But you, I do take my interest at heart, and you tell me what's true. And sometimes you try not to hurt my feelings. Depends on whether or not you've had coffee.
And sometimes your feelings be darned.
Yeah, there's been a couple of those days too, yeah.
Yeah, I've got something along the lines of your feelings be darned in my calendar for a few weeks from now. So just remember that.
Oh.
You had instilled that. I noticed it when I was running through my calendar for September. So
did you?
Just keep that in mind.
Yeah, when we get off this episode, I'll ask you what exactly that was. I know I remember there was a date there. Oh, I might even. Ooh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, got it.
You remember what it is now?
I think so. Yeah. Well, I think it has something to do with a book. But anyway, that's well, we'll see what that goes. No, that was the wrong answer. Ship. That's the right answer. Yeah. September. Good. Got it. All right. We'll and all the listening audience will be waiting to see if I
that's right.
Tell that or what. Tune in on
what the heck are we talking about? Yeah.
Yeah. That's it. All right.
All right. Well, Kelvin, thanks for being here
for the day, huh?
Yeah. Thanks for being here. Thanks for putting up with me. Hey, everybody, go get 10% off your box at Kettle and Fire. Go to kettleandfire.com. Use code BetterHumanHood at checkout for 10%. Come by jkwdpodcast.com for all the show notes and links and whatever else.
Fun stuff.
Hit that contact button. Feel free to tell us what you really think. I won't forward it to Kelvin if I think it'll hurt his feelings, unless I want to watch him cry for some reason. And we will see you.
I don't cry in public.
We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Hey, thanks for listening. Show notes and more at jkwdpodcast.com. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share with your friends, and we will see you next week. Bye. A Better Humanhood production.